We don't see any waste, fraud, and abuse. We don't see any of that. We see growing government.
We cannot get to a good economy, and we can't get to economic development with cuts and cuts alone.
The House approved the state's budget bills, including more than $1 billion in tax increases. However, it was another tense day in the chamber. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mary Bubala.
And I'm Kai Jackson. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost explains why more lawmakers are voicing frustration with what's included.
Third reader votes are usually not as dramatic as the one we saw for the plan to close Maryland's $3.3 billion budget deficit. The vote comes as Governor Wes Moore is defending the fact that the state no longer has that multi-billion-dollar surplus.
There being 130 members present, the House is now in session. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 350, Budget Bill, Fiscal Year 2026.
Inside the House of Delegates chamber,
we can follow California right off the edge of the cliff.
It is the most patriotic thing anyone can do is to pay your taxes.
A lot of what's in the budget is a lie.
Tensions were high with the budget on the line.
I just wanted to stand to speak against some of the word salad emotional terrorism.
When it's not your money, it's easy to spend. When it's your money, you care.
What we are doing is irresponsible and it is wrong.
The reason we have budgets like this is because of what y'all have done with gerrymandering in our state.
After a marathon of debate Tuesday with more than 6 hours of discussion and hundreds of amendments floated.
This BRFA, Madam Speaker, is about putting our values into action.
Madam Speaker.
There being 100 votes in the affirmative, House Bill number 350, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed.
The House moved the plan forward Wednesday, sending it to the Senate, but it did not stop Republicans from railing against what's included, especially what they believe are not enough cuts.
We're the only state in our damn region that has a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit and needs to raise billions of dollars in taxes to do the same stuff that they can do in Richmond.
Given the ballooning budget deficit.
You know why we got to do this here in Maryland? Because we're a poorly run state. Last year's budget was built on $453 million of tax increases. This one is built on $1.6 billion of tax increases. And we have to start at some point asking what we've gotten for the money.
Here's a look at some of those tax increases. A 3% tax on data and IC services, raising the cannabis tax, driving up the vehicle excise tax, and an excise tax on short-term rental cars, applying a sales tax on vending machine purchases, a capital gains tax.
And the last business that's left in Maryland, please turn out the lights.
The taxes in this budget are going to lay squarely on the back of middle-class Marylanders.
Plus, there will be 2 new tax brackets for high-income earners in the state. And then the cuts come from hundreds of smaller cuts to various state agencies. $420 million less going to the state's rainy day fund.
That's not cutting spending.
Other cuts, Republicans say, are not real spending slashes, rather shuffling funds.
Shifting to teacher retirement costs to local governments, $98 million. That's not a cut, that's a shift.
Republicans often point to the multi-billion-dollar surplus left by former Governor Larry Hogan.
WBAL.
W268BA. On WBAL News Radio Wednesday morning.
Well, Governor Wes Moore joins us. Really appreciate your availability.
Governor Wes Moore pushing back on spending the surplus frivolously.
That was not a structural surplus. That was capital that came from the federal government that went to every single state.
Arguing what was spent was on things like a veterans building and other necessities.
And so when people say, well, where is cash gone? We've gone to make sure that we can both address not just short-term needs, but also making sure we have a very healthy and robust rainy day fund.
Regardless of whether you agree with the surplus spending, the deficit is real. And back in the House, some Democrats, though, are frustrated with the budget plan on tax hikes.
I feel like I don't have a place in this place anymore.
While explaining why she's voting against the bill.
Madam Speaker. Candles just to light her house.
Madam Speaker.
I'm trying to help.
Thank you for recognizing me, Madam Speaker. The 2 minutes for the young lady are over.
I can count.
But you must sit down. You no longer have the floor.
Delegate Sample Hughes was told to sit down and her time had expired. Both budget bills passed with Democratic support. While leadership is defending what's included, it does not negate the fact that tax hikes are coming.
Do you believe that this is the leanest budget that was possible for you guys to do, given the fiscal situation for the state? I really do.
Chair Ben Barnes says the lawmakers looked at the general fund bottom line.
The budget shrunk by over $400 million between this year and last year.
But the budget hole was $3.3 billion.
Right, and we've shored that up.
Leaving a cash reserve for potential more cuts at the federal level. But minority leadership sees the plan as just more tax increases.
Pretty much everyone in Maryland's going to have a big tax hike coming their way.
Chickens have come home to roost.
And now the plan is in the hands of the Senate, with less than a week and a half left in session.
The Senate's version is expected to be slightly different. I'm told we could start seeing the Senate debate this on the floor as early as Monday, and then conference committees will begin sometime midweek. In the State House, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
Hey, I'm Mackenzie Frost. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Check out Fox Baltimore on all of our social media pages for more videos just like this.